About 6 years ago, a deadly virus decimated the vast majority of the planet's population. An employee of a major company managed to save his children, Simone and Rasmus, from the demise. The father concealed his daughter and son in a secret bunker, leaving it himself. As time passes, the teenagers run out of food, forcing them to emerge from their safe haven. The main task for the protagonists becomes the search for their missing father. A dangerous virus has been detected in the United Kingdom. In a short period, it spreads worldwide, nearly wiping out the population of our planet. The main protagonist, Abigail Grant, has struggled to overcome the deadly disease. Her husband is dead, and all that remains for Abigail is to embark on a search for her missing son. Along the way, the main character faces numerous trials. Forming a small community of survivors, Abigail and her companions will need to start their lives anew in this harsh new world. The series is based on the bestseller by English writer Richard Preston. The story unfolds in the late 1980s when the Ebola virus reaches the United States. Nancy Jocks, a researcher at a scientific center, obtains samples of a new virus. Risking her life, she tries to trace its origin. Her colleague, Wade Carter, joins her, and together, they strive to prevent the spread of the dangerous virus. The series is set on our planet. The outbreak of an unknown virus escalates into a global epidemic. The majority of humanity becomes victims of the epidemic. One of the few survivors is the crew of a lonely destroyer, which was far from the epidemic's epicenter at sea. The members of the ship face a challenging task: to find a vaccine for the virus and save humanity from destruction. The series tells the story of the inhabitants of the island of Sløborn, located in the North Sea. One day, a group of teenagers notices a small sailboat stranded near the island. Upon reaching it, they discover the bodies of people and become infected with an unknown virus. In a short time, an epidemic begins on the island, posing a deadly. An epidemic of a dangerous virus rapidly spreads across the Earth. The first to detect the disease is Dr. Luther Swan. His friend Michael becomes the first infected and begins transforming into a bloodthirsty predator, leading to the emergence of a new species, vampires. Society divides into two groups, and eventually, a war between humans and vampires ensues. While Luther tries to find a vaccine for the virus, his best friend Michael becomes the leader of the infected army. A satellite orbiting Earth unexpectedly crashes near a small town in the United States. Upon its crash, an unknown virus is released into the air. In a short time, almost all the residents of the town are infected and subsequently perish. Only 2 people manage to survive. Military personnel arrive at the crash site to prevent the spread of the epidemic. Meanwhile, a group of scientists assembles in an underground laboratory, attempting to unravel the mystery of the virus codenamed Andromeda. In the educational institution of the city of Hyson, a laboratory hamster bites one of the students. The teenager is infected with an unknown virus that rapidly spreads among the school students. The virus turns people into zombie-like creatures, and shortly after, the infection spreads beyond the school. Several main characters must engage in a desperate struggle for survival, showcasing their skills and resourcefulness. An unknown epidemic has swept the entire planet, claiming the lives of millions. Humanity knows little about the dangerous virus. Only one thing is certain: if you fall asleep, you die. At the center of the plot is the main character of the series, Jake. Suffering from drug addiction, Jake wakes up once again to find deserted streets. He encounters a teenager on a bicycle who informs him about what has happened. It turns out that only a small number of people manage to survive. They constantly struggle with drowsiness, but will their endurance last long enough to stay awake? In the near future, Earth's population is struck by an unknown virus that transforms people into bloodthirsty creatures. These creatures cannot tolerate daylight and only appear at night. As a result, a curfew is imposed for the survivors to avoid endangering themselves and to halt the virus's spread. Violators are apprehended and placed in quarantine. However, there are still daredevils who do not consider such restrictions justified. To attain the coveted freedom, one must win a deadly race, where only one team out of 25 will remain.